What's happening, people? It's another episode of the Giants Guys, but it's not just any episode of the Giants Guys. It's the 100th episode of the Giants Guys. And I'm coming on a little bit early before our special guest, which is Lawrence Tynes, and I bring in the truth and Spartan Mike. I wanted to thank you. We've been, let's see, it's 100 episodes. That's over two years. A little stretch it out to 2.5 years. Some of you folks go way back, even when I did the podcast with John Fennelly for the USA Today. We've had a lot of fun. Thank you for all your support. You read the website, especially Truth. He puts like 9 million articles on there that you guys read every week. You follow us on Twitter. You subscribe to the YouTube channel. Now we've got, of course, NY Giants _rush on Instagram. So we're trying to get that pumping. And I don't know. We've interviewed a ton of really cool people. We've got sponsors now. Like, we've come a long way, but it's not about us. It's about you. We couldn't have done it without you. You come on here every week. You listen to us. You argue with us. You debate with us. You high five us. You hang out with us at the Giants games and Fan Fest. And man, we have had some cool, fun times. So I owe everyone out there in Giants Twitter and Twitterland, I thank you very much. We owe this all to you. Real quick, I used to be a featured columnist for the Bleacher Report for the Giants. And when Turner Sports bought Bleacher Report, they got rid of basically all the writers. So it was right after the Super Bowl, right after the 2011 Super Bowl. And I was like this, I could do this myself. And I created nygiantsrush.com. And then, of course, Truth and all these other guys that you've seen over the years. There was Tom, who I met in Vermont at the Burton store when I blew out one of my snowboard boots, to Lexi, who went on to work for ESPN and SNY, and just tons of really cool people over the years. Doug Rush, a lot of cool people that have written for, Mikey Fresh over the years. A lot of great people have written for me, been on the podcast, and I owe all of you guys. So, thank you for tuning in. You guys have been loyal. We're always open to suggestions on what you want to see. I made this up for you folks. I'll play it again a little bit later. I hope you enjoy this. It's only a little 30 seconds, but I wanted to let you guys know, some of you are new, right? So for all you new folks, we're known as nygiantsrush.com. And, that's the overall arching sports platform. And then, of course, the Giants Guys rolls underneath there. And, of course, our niches, we interview those Giants legends and media personalities that you guys love. So, again, as you can see scrolling through the bottom, it's the 100th freaking episode of the Giants Guys. It's insane. I don't know what I'm doing or why I do it, but I guess somehow, it works. I squeeze it in with all the other things that I'm doing in my life. Great guys that I'm going to bring in a second. I'm going to play this video for you guys. Hope you enjoy just a little bit of what we've done over the last 2.5 years.
Working, we serving the streets. About to go ahead, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep. Tick, tick, boom.
Woo! Wasn't that cool? That's all the people that we've interviewed over the last 2.5 years. Pretty much, I'm pretty sure I got everybody in there. And if I missed somebody, it was probably because I couldn't find their picture. All right, so I'm gonna bring in the guys real fast. I've got Truth with me because he's been with me since like 1985, and I couldn't do this without the Truth. The Truth as, of course, the college guru. I mean, the guy knows more about the draft and college players than pretty much anybody, you know. And of course, I'm bringing in Spartan Mike because he's Spartan Mike, and he deserves to be here. These are my guys, and I'm sure if you're not following them, please do. And of course, housekeeping is we are brought to you by Astroflave. 2.5 years later, we got a real sponsor. I need you guys to support them. For you gym rats, you guys mashing plates, doing stairs, you mutters, you Spartan racers, all you guys, you CrossFit junkies, check it out. Astroflave, 5 locations. Can't buy it in a box store. They'll ship it to your house. It tastes great. That's why it's called Astroflave. And just because, in case you think I don't use it, I do use it, right? There's the greens. Here's my testosterone because I'm an old guy and you want to make fun of my hair. Well, look, it's the testosterone. That's what works, right? And then amino acids, a little hard to see with the light. Amino acids, pink lemonade. So Astroflave, check them out. Let's bring in the boys. Truth.
What's going on?
Nothing, baby. I'm glad to see your mug, my friend. 100 episodes, and
Can't believe it.
You're still with me, dude. Aren't you sick of me by now?
I can't believe it's been that many. Time flies when you're having fun, right?
Yeah, man. I appreciate it. And if I don't say it enough, I appreciate you and all you do for me and how people try to come and steal you from me and you still hang out with me. And for all you folks out there, stop trying to steal truth from me. It's my guy, and him and Spartan are going to bring back, more college shows and more draft shows. And listen, by the way, that's how these guys have fun. They get to do their own thing because that's, I like that. So, and the other guys like Zane and Nikki and John and Nails, make sure you're following them too. They're part of the crew. Got a really good crew. Sometimes you got a good crew, and then sometimes, they think maybe they're better than you. and then they're not there anymore. So these group of guys have just grown on me like mold. I wish that some of them were a little bit closer. So today on the 100th episode, I'm bringing in the 2 furthest guys away, Carolina, and of course Chicago. Let's bring in Spartan Mike. Spartan Mike.
Craig, Truth, what is going on? Happy at 100th episode, and Giants fans, let's remember something. This all starts with Craig Santucci, man. He's right here. You don't see his picture up on his Twitter handle, but he's a guy that started it all. He's got a background in media, and he's solid. He's always bringing good content, incredible interviews. There's no podcast that's giving you these kind of interviews. And let me just say, about a year ago right now, is when Craig first reached out, and I was so honored. So when he said, "Hey, I'm thinking about bringing you on to write for us," I'm like, I was so stoked because I was such a big fan of the show and the platform and everything like that. I'm a huge Michigan State guy. I saw them interview Carl Banks. And then, within a couple months, I was sitting there interviewing David Deal. I couldn't believe it. My dad couldn't believe it. My grandpa never believed me until he saw the videos. But here I am, just, been a Giants fan for almost 20 years now. And I'm on cloud 9 still. I'm not descending.
Yeah,
Right.
You know what's funny, Craig? I'm just thinking about what Spartan's saying. I go way back with you. I think I answered a Craigslist thing with you. It wasn't through any kind of Twitter. It was really some kind of relic way I contacted you to become a writer. I don't know.
Craigslist sounds a little far-fetched for me. But
something like that. I don't know what it was.
It was something. Yeah, it was something out of the ordinary,
Craigslist.
right?
Yeah. Come on, Craig.
Yeah, unless I owned Craigslist, which I don't. But it is cool. We've had plenty of people on it, right? First that have gone on to great jobs and done other cool stuff. We've interviewed some cool people. Like I played that video for you. I mean, we interview cool folks. We learn a lot of cool stuff. But if anybody thinks I'm getting rich off this, I'm not. But I have a ton of fun doing it, and I have a ton of fun meeting you folks. Some of you guys engage, some of you guys want to argue. I still love you all the same.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, even if I'm pissed off for a little while, you know what I mean? Like I've gotten to know, there's some over the years, some really cool guys. Like I like to give a shout out to like Nick. Nick's like more like the OG, you know what I mean? And I don't know if he's gonna pop on tonight or not, but Nick is like Nick and RB from Virginia. Like they're like the OGs. And like Nick comes to see me at Fan Fest every year or one of the football games. He's ex-police force, or I say former police force. He's always throwing PBA cards at me. And he's like, that's for you, Stan Tucci. You know, just good people. You know, RB down in Virginia, another OG. Like just you know, good solid people I've gotten to be. There was something that came out about, okay, you've done this for 100 episodes. Do you really have friends on Twitter? And you know what? Believe it or not, I do. I do have friends from Twitter. You know, and some of these guys I've interviewed have just been super cool that I've gotten friends with over the years. But what I want to make sure I do is I want to make sure I bring in our special guest so he's not hanging out in the background too long. I'm going to bring in, of course, 2-time Super Bowl winner, friend of the show. I enjoy his commentary because he won't tell you that his podcast was stolen after mine. He won't tell you that because he's got this kick-ass podcast, you know. So it sounds similar to mine. Just saying, you know. But listen, great friend of the show. Love Lawrence. We're gonna bring him in here. So I hope you guys are all fired up for LT. You can bring him in now. See what he's doing. Boom.
What's up?
What's up, LT?
Hey, I heard you talking shit about me.
He's getting his
Hey,
lawyer right now. He's gonna try to.
I did not name that fucking podcast. That's a New York Post. That is a whatever.
I tell the story all the time. This is true, and Lawrence knows I'm not lying. It was like 1:00 in the morning. I sent him it was either a tweet or a DM about two years ago, and I said, "Hey, since you stole the name of my podcast, would you at least mind coming on my show, Larry?" And he said,
Larry.
he said, A, I didn't steal the name of your podcast. And 2, I'm not coming on if you call me Larry. It's Lawrence. And I was like, no problem, Lawrence. We're going to have you on.
Yeah, because you know what? My name is Lawrence, not Larry. But it's funny how many people will call you Larry. Just assume
so
that
you're probably by. Like I said, it's 100 episodes. It's over 2.5 years.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. And I reached
out
to you.
That's not a small feat.
No, well, no, it's not.
It's a lot of work, too.
There's a lot of work. It is. And like, so the first guy I ever interviewed was Russ Salzberg. I'm sure, Lawrence, you remember Russ. But I mean, like, you were like the second or third guy that I interviewed, and we had a blast. Like, we laughed a bunch of stories, you know, that you brought up and stuff. So I appreciate you just always, you know, giving us time.
No problem. I had fun. That was a fun night.
Yeah. We always try to have some fun, you know, because I'm not really asking you about kicks you made or, you know, or I'm asking you like.
Yeah, because I get really sick of talking about that shit.
Well, yeah, you want to have some fun.
You guys all have YouTube. Like,
yeah.
I try and come up. The thing is, when you're doing so much podcasting and like giant stuff, and there's certain stories you have to retell. That's fine. But then you have to just, you know, things will pop into your head that you probably don't really remember telling. Those are the best stories because those are like ones that I've never told, and then people get kind of an exclusive. But it's hard to like, you know, recall some of that shit because we've all been on these and shows and radio so much since we've been done. But it's better to be asked to be on shows than not to be asked to be on shows.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we interviewed Kurt Warner 3 weeks ago.
Oh, cool.
And we're just jabbing, having some fun with him. Because like I said, like the 2.5 years I've been doing this, no one's ever left me like, oh, Santucci's a dick. Like that just doesn't happen because I don't do that. Like it's not what I do. And we're talking to Kurt, and he's like, you know, and he goes, I gotta tell you this story because I always ask him, like, what's it like playing for Coughlin? You know, I asked you probably that 3 times. So I go, what's it like playing for Coughlin? And he says, he's like, all the things you've heard are true, and all the things I can tell you've probably already heard. He goes, but I'm going to tell you what kind of man he is. And I was like, yeah. He's like, I was there 1 year, he said. And when I left, I kind of had like an exit interview, you know, and I'm sitting in Tom's office and we're going through stuff. And Tom says to Kurt, would you mind writing down, Kurt, what you don't like about the organization, about what you don't like that I do or how we do things? Could you write it down? And Kurt was like, you want me to write it down? He's like, yeah, write it down. He's like, I want to know everything. Give me everything. It'll make me a better coach, a better leader, a better husband, a better friend, and so on. So Kurt took the time and got one of those big yellow notebook pads with lines on it. And he wrote down every single thing he didn't like about the organization or what maybe they can improve on. Then he then like, 5, I can't remember the exact number of years, 7 years later after he played, for the Cardinals, and he retires, and he's kind of doing his first round of media interviews, and they're at an away game, Lawrence, and I can't remember the town that where they're at, but they're at an away game. Kurt gets an opportunity to interview him, and I guess at an away game, they give the head coach an office so he can do some work maybe at the hotel.
Yeah.
So he goes into the makeshift office at this hotel where Tom's working, and he says, hey, coach, how are you? He says, I'm good. He goes, you know what, Kurt? Let me show you something. And he reaches in the bottom drawer of the makeshift office 7-8 years later, pulls out the Kurt Warner notes that he wrote for him 7-8 years before.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, and he's like, that's how important it was that you did that for me.
What year? He was there in 2004?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is
because I heard obviously Coughlin was a bear before I got there. like a big grizzly bear. I mean, people naturally hated playing for him. Of course, I don't have any of those experiences because I didn't get there till 2007. So
yeah, and I guess he mellowed out after a while, I guess.
Yeah. Well, he had to.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
all right. So let's talk some Giants, man, because we already know how awesome you are and all the great things you did and big flashy rings and trophies behind you. I want your expertise on what you're seeing. The Giants are 2-0. That's halfway to what they were last year.
Yeah.
Kind of like, what's your, before we dig down and get into the weeds, what's your overarching feel about the Giants being 2-0? Surprised or no big deal?
I wish Tennessee would have kept that game more competitive last night. It would have made that Tennessee win feel a little better, but the Bills are the Bills. I would say surprised. I didn't expect them to go to Tennessee and win. Carolina's not a very good football team with Baker Mayfield at quarterback. 1-1, you could think, early. But yeah, I'm surprised they're 2-0, to be honest with you. And confidence is a dangerous thing in the NFL. Now, they don't have any superstars on offense right outside of Saquon Barkley. They're moving the ball through the air with a bunch of, number 2, maybe 3 and 4 wide receivers, maybe. And a rookie tight end that's going to develop over time. I think the best version of Bellinger is going to come after midseason. I think that kid's going to be kind of more like a Rudolph was in his prime. Not a blazer, good blocker, but can make plays in the red zone.
I'll take that.
Yeah, he's going to be a really good football player provided he stays healthy. And the offensive lines played okay. They didn't have a great first half the other day, but I just, as a Giants fan, as you guys know, you have to enjoy this 2-0 start.
Yep.
I mean, I don't see them winning more than 8 games. 9 would be on
By
the
way,
high end.
You realize that's like triple of what they did. You know what I mean? Double what they did.
No, it's a lot more than we've seen around here. But the schedule is favorable to them,
especially the first 10 games there, aside from Green Bay and Baltimore.
Yeah, and then you're kind of playing Green Bay in a neutral site. So don't want to get too far ahead of myself here. Tough game Monday night, obviously divisional game, playing against a great defense. But they're favored in that game. They're favored in 2 games in a row. That's rarefied air for the New York Football Giants, right?
Yeah.
But again, pleasantly surprised. But Dable and the guys have done a good enough job with this team. They would have lost, both those games last year, no problem, right? They're
finding ways to win last year. It was a different.
Yeah, they do just enough to win, and they do just enough to lose. They did just enough to win both games, and so I think Giants fans should be excited about that. This program is on the right trajectory.
Agreed.
Yeah, and it's a different vibe to the team. Like I think, if this was last year, they kind of probably would have been like, that's all we got. We're done. Where, you go for it on 4th down, you go for the 2-point conversion. Like there's a different vibe in the building, which is basically says to me, we're not afraid to lose. So we're going for it. And that's different than, a coach that's fixated on special teams winning you the game, or wearing a suit that's too big, or whatever it is, or the adult in the room with Shermer. Like there's no preconceived notion that these guys are going to be conservative. They want to win the right way. So they're not afraid to put the talent in the right spot. I was impressed with, I thought, and by the way, kudos to you, by the way. You and I were on a podcast, Christmas. It must have been like November, December. Wow. I can't remember exactly. You and I were on it together, and everybody got asked, who we wanted as GM and coach. And I'm not blowing smoke. You were the only guy that said Kafka. Like no one knew Kafka at all on where he would project. I thought Kafka started off a little slow this past week, but I think he's great for the Giants, and kudos to you for even knowing that he was.
Well, he's a rookie too. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
I mean, as players develop, coaches have to also, but man, he's got a great teacher in Brian Dable. That's a pretty good teacher I'd like to have.
And coming from Reed, right?
Yeah. Coming from the Chiefs. Yeah. Mahomes, Reed, two great, Brian Dable. And now he gets the reins, and, hopefully in 4 or 5 years, he's a head coach, because that means he did a hell of a job.
Yeah. I just remember you saying Kafka, and I was like, who? And you were like, oh no, you're like, this kid's smart.
Yeah. I mean, obviously anyone from that Chiefs tree is going to get opportunities. Any successful football team. And he was just a name that stuck out because I remember he played quarterback. Well, he wasn't very good. He got into coaching, quickly moved up the ladder. And then obviously when you're around Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and you stick around, I mean, you're obviously doing something right.
All right. Let's ask some hard. Well, I got to ask, and you guys jump in here, because we've been battling over this one subject for quite some time now.
Hard for about 10 minutes on the last episode, right, Craig?
Which one?
What's that?
I know where you're going. Go ahead, Craig. Just go.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're talking about Jones, right? So, listen, we've gone.
It's like beating a dead horse.
Yeah, like I ask anybody to give me some kind of insight. Orlovsky, Warner,
Warner
it's like a black hole, though. Like we just can't quite. You still can't figure out what.
That's why I know what you're going to ask. That's why this year I've taken the approach of just enjoy it for what it is. He's either going to make it or he's not. We can't guess or project. No one knows. No one knows what's going to happen with this guy.
That's right.
He's currently sitting.
He made gritty plays this week, but he missed a ton of open stuff.
I mean, I don't think he missed a ton of open stuff, but I mean, he has not been great. We know that. He was really good his rookie year. He's had 2 terrible situations, cards stacked against him. I'm taking the approach this year. It is what it is. If they sign him to a long-term deal, great. That means he played well. If they don't, then we'll draft somebody. But he's playing well enough to win. It's funny. Giants fans always want to think about, like, why can't we ever just enjoy that he's 2-0?
That's
like
right.
We have to try and figure out who he is or what he is. No one fucking knows what he is.
Yeah.
On Twitter, they think they do.
I mean, Joe Shane's down in Florida looking at that quarterback in Florida that had a really good first game, and he has sucked ever since. Richardson.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson.
He sucked. The kid from Kentucky's the real deal.
I agree. He's my favorite quarterback. Me and Truth were talking about that on our draft show. We were saying the exact same thing. Love him.
But they're just doing their due diligence as executives of a franchise that know they have a quarterback decision to make. That doesn't mean Daniel Jones is not included in that conversation. Sure. The Giants would absolutely love to write him a massive check at the end of the season.
I guess the concern is with a lot of fans is that, if he does kind of have it's like whatever that threshold is, it's good enough to get re-signed. You hope that he brings that every year consistently after that, and obviously it's like the alternatives. We could always get we can get a draft bust too, right? So it's a hot topic issue when you don't have for sure franchise quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, you'd like to go to bed with somebody, You know,
Sometimes.
not all the time, but
Not yet. Not all the time.
but
I suppose, yeah.
different show, wrong show. Yeah, I just think that, you know, let's see what he does in the next 15 games. Because he's doing, again, guys, he's doing this with no number 1 or number 2 receiver. I think that has to get some extra points. You know, he's
that's
gritty,
why I was asking.
Gritty.
That's why I was asking you, because one, I think Giants fans forgot how to be happy. Like, it's been 10 years, right? I mean, I don't know about you, but whether it's a job, a marriage, your best friend, if you go 10 years with getting punched in the face, you kind of forget what it is not to get punched in the face.
No question.
So this build is not like, well, we were bad last year and I'm pissed. Like, it's 10 years. I think for one, people forget how to be happy and celebrate or you know, wrap their arms around what's happening. And then the second thing is what you just said. Like, you don't want to make excuses for him, but there's a lot of legit holes that he can't overcome.
A lot. I mean, just think if that was someone you loved, or your brother or a sibling or somebody you guys cared about, right? And like, he has been dealt a shit hand. No question. Absolute shit hand. Shit coaches. I mean, Joe Judge was atrocious. He was the best salesman in the history of pro football. He had me lured in.
Yeah,
I was in.
me too.
I was all in on Joe Judge.
Yep.
But then having private conversations with people that were on that staff, they said it was an absolute shit show there.
Oh, really?
I mean, they knew they sucked. They knew they had no shot. One coach told me that who was the kid from Georgia that started the last 2 games?
Fromm.
Oh my God.
Jake Fromm.
He said he had never seen a worse practice in the history of pro football than those 2 weeks Jake Fromm was a quarterback. Offensively. Never saw balls come out of a quarterback's hand like that in the history. And this coach has been around a long time. I mean, that says a lot about what was going on there, man. Yeah. 4 of the 5 starting linemen in that game and through week 1 were not in the NFL. I mean, Billy Price just signed with the Raiders after week 1, but that 4 of those 5 linemen outside of Andrew Thomas weren't even in the NFL. Eli Penny's not in the NFL. I could go down the list on that roster of players who are not currently playing in the National Football League.
That was the worst offense I probably had ever seen. The last 4 weeks of Giants football there, the exact opposite of the current.
4 weeks, more than that.
Yeah, it was, and it's almost like we have fun with Jason Garrett, right? I love posting memes and the clapper, but man, he might have done a job that was beyond anything he's ever done in his life just to make it, because they did keep it competitive in some games. I don't know how the hell they did it. Patrick Graham, and was a good coach, but it's just, to your point, it's been a bad run. And
they actually had some nice wins last year. Oakland, Philly, like there were actually couples like you actually beat those teams, but then the wheels fell.
And then
off.
The year before, they kind of lucked into that six win season when Joe Judge was the darling. We almost make the playoffs. He calls out the Philly coach, was it Peterson, for tanking, putting in Sudfeld or whatever the hell his name is. So yeah, man, it's just been bad. It's just been really bad. This feels different. And I think most of Giants Nation wants Daniel Jones to work out, but I bet it's 50-50. I don't know. I don't live in New York, so you guys know better than I do.
Well, they don't want
Twitter hates him. That's fine.
Yeah, Twitter hates him.
That's
because
okay.
It's just like
they find anything.
Man,
they find anything.
He made some big time throws on Sunday. Maybe it's because I played. Man, there was just some. The pockets weren't clean. A lot of guys, I don't know. Baker Mayfield sucked.
I always thought he had an issue, but and the accuracy too. Like he has those 2 components. I never thought that was
his miss is high, right? That's the problem. His miss is high. If you ever see Daniel miss, it's typically high because he doesn't set his feet and he's a little jittery. And goddamn, can you blame him? I mean, he's been hitting the teeth for the last 3 seasons, and he's a little jittery. But man, when he settles down and competes and just plays like he did in the 4th quarter against Tennessee and the 4th quarter against Carolina, where I almost feel like he forgets and he just becomes a quarterback and an athlete, he plays pretty well, right?
Well,
When he's in
I
this
guess-
hurry up,
Yeah.
yeah. But again, they're always looking to upgrade the quarterback position. So that's
They bake them on. They again. It's nitpicking to some degree. I'm not saying I'm a subscriber.
that's why we all have mics. We can do that.
Yeah, right. But when you break it, and I always say he missed a bunch of stuff because they'll break down these. And I gotta say, there's some accuracy to the point is that he doesn't look off enough. He's constantly missing a wide open receiver. Now he makes up for it with a gritty run and a first down and a dive, and he makes a play. So you love that part. But then when you actually pull the frame out, you'll just see he's looking at one receiver the entire time, and you're missing an open Shepherd or an open Tony. And you're just saying, like, I can't figure out at this stage why he just can't look off. It's like almost like he's got no internal clock, that says I need to look off. I need to look off. And I don't want to be that guy to kill him for stuff because, again, he will pull the ball down and make a great first down run, right? But there are some like almost pitch and catch plays that he just misses.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, there's no question the Tennessee throw in the red zone was terrible to Saquon. That's a bad pick. The throw the other day, right before halftime, should have been a pick six, right?
Yes.
The one that came out of he makes some bad choices. And quarterbacks, defenses can make you look stupid. They make Tom Brady look stupid sometimes. He's not a finished product, but he's also in what is this, his third or fourth offense in 4 years? I mean,
Third.
Yeah.
That's tough, Greg. I don't know how to tell you that's tough, man. He hasn't been in this thing for, 3-4 years and knows every little wrinkle and nuance of it like a Josh Allen does now. Look at Josh Allen now. Daniel Jones will never be a Josh Allen, but I feel like there's even more added pressure because everyone wants to compare Josh Allen or Daniel to Josh Allen because of the Buffalo relationship and the size, and they both run well. Josh Allen is an elite athlete. If you watch him run in open space, he doesn't look like Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones can run straight line, but he's not super wiggly. He's not going to shake you or get out of the way.
A great way to describe it. He's not wiggly because it's true.
He's not.
He's not
like
wiggly.
the run Josh Allen had last night early where he just kind of hurdled that DB to get the first down. He put his arm down, 10-yard run. Daniel Jones would break into 1,800 pieces if he did that.
How about the stiff arm in game one that he gave that cornerback? Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jones might be able to do something like that.
I've never seen him give a stiff arm.
I don't want him to do anything except hold on to the fucking football.
If he's in an open field, he can run to the end zone.
I would like to him run like this with the football.
Yeah, or Velcro it to his jersey.
So he is developing. I think Dable's the right guy for him. Listen, and I think they'll know the Giants organization, Joe Shane and Brian Dable will say, look, in Kafka, they'll know who he is by the end of the year.
Yeah. Well, then let's parlay that into like what the biggest issue right now is. We've got, and Spartan, you could jump in here because I know we've talked about it. I asked you to write an article about it this week.
Yeah.
And I'll hand it over to you to dig into it. But like we cannot. I mean, we're talking Giants, right? So we got to call somebody's baby ugly, and the wide receiver position is a ugly baby. I mean, it is in a bad shape. It's overpaid. It underperforms. And what do you do? How do you win games?
Well, I guess let's say this, Craig. It's more like, look, we go into the season. It's April. We're expecting that our starting receivers are undoubtedly Kenny G and Kadarius Toney. And now all of a sudden, it's not really the case. They're getting as much playing time as guys that are undrafted free agents. I don't really want to speculate too much into what's going on there, but like, how does that happen? I guess.
Man, I don't have a clue. We've talked about it on my show. Paul Schwartz is in that locker room, right? I keep going back to the procedure that Kenny Galladay had maybe in April that was mentioned in training camp. Still, I don't think anyone's publicly said what it was. Like, what did he have a knee scope? Did he have a hip scope? Did he have a?
No.
He had a procedure. Remember, Joe Shane mentioned it in September that he had something done in April. So I don't know. He's obviously disgruntled, right? He's not happy. Kadarius Toney, that for me is a performance practice based and probably not knowing what to do situation in that offense, untrustworthy to some extent. But I still think you should have a package for him until he gets up to speed on the playbook. Like he's got to play 30 plays a game. I don't know. 10
At
targets.
least, yeah.
Does he know the playbook?
Stop. I'm sick of the horizontal stuff. KT needs to get going vertical. I think I wouldn't mind seeing him outside. I know he's not the biggest guy in the world, but I'd take him over Sills, and I like Sills. Sills has a role on this team. I love Richie James. He's just came out of nowhere. Kind of a gritty slot guy, returner. They're getting by. Wan'Dale Robinson, I was excited about. Hopefully he'll come back here in a couple weeks. And of course, the old Wiley vet, he keeps showing up, Sterling Shepard. So they're making it work, but it's certainly a weak spot.
$74 million and the cat doesn't catch a ball. Last year, no touchdowns. I mean,
I don't know.
Like he's the worst contract Gettleman ever rolled out.
Yeah, and there's some bad ones, right? You got the Solder one. You've got the running back from the Panthers. I can't think of his name.
Jonathan Stewart.
Yeah. And that wasn't a ton of money, but it was just a waste of money, whatever the hell the number was. Yeah, it's bad. Listen, they're in cap hell. They know next year is a new year. Kenny Galladay is not going to be on this football team next year.
No.
So whatever happens. It'd be great if he gave us 600 yards and 3 touchdowns, but I don't know. I mean, that's sad to say for a guy making what's his cap hit this year? 20?
18. Is it 18 million, Craig?
Pretty good.
Yeah, 18.9, maybe it was. I can look it up. But I'm taking a step further.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
That much.
But what bothers me, LT, about it is that he's known from day one as a 50-50 guy. So if you throw 10 balls at him, he'll catch 5. But we don't throw balls at him at all. He is supposed to be the 50-50 guy. I got people telling me, we don't throw back shoulder fades. We don't do this. We don't do that. Like, there's got to be something more. And I'm not trying to create something that's not there. I'm just saying that if he's a 50-50 guy, then he should be able to catch 5 out of 10 balls. We're not throwing at him. We're not putting him in a position to win or be successful. There's got to be more than just packages. It's got to be like you said about Tony. Maybe it's the playbook. Maybe he's not working hard. I don't know. Everything you see in the offseason, Spartan, how many photos did we see in the offseason of Kenny Galladay and Jones hanging out at a basketball game, throwing on at the field? Weren't they not together all the time in the offseason?
I don't recall.
You don't?
No, I have no idea. I didn't.
There's your exclusive.
Yeah, exactly.
Exclusive.
Yeah, there's always tons of media around.
I'll get my page 6 spies on it from the Post. Maybe they know.
There you go. All those posts.
I don't think
post guys.
Listen, we'll ultimately find out why. It may be too late. It may be at the end of the year. It may be in the middle of the year, and maybe there's a trade partner. Maybe someone needs a big body. There's a receiver injury somewhere. It's a big number to take on. Maybe the Giants eat a little bit and just to get him on his way, because he truly is handicapping this team. I was really looking forward to the young kid Johnson from the preseason.
Colin. Yeah.
Making this team. That kid was destined, and I'm not kidding you. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that kid in person. He is a unit. He is about 6'5", about 220 pounds. He was on pace. I almost pictured this whole Victor Cruz thing all over again. He was that kind of player.
But much bigger.
Such a good preseason.
But huge. And he was going to be your number one, whether you liked it or not. Like, he was going to be your number one receiver coming out of training camp.
Yeah, we weren't going to call him that, but he would be, yeah.
Yeah, and I saw him because I stood next to him when they played at Arrowhead last year, Monday Night Football. Me and my boys went to the game, stood on the field, watched pregame warmups, and he is a big, big man. He was on special teams last year. He didn't get a lot of footballs, but, man, I was excited about him. I was really excited about him because – and, of course, he gets the Achilles, but I think that was their plan. I really think, they knew Galladay was going to be whatever they're calling him now. But
it's a shame.
It's a shame. But you just got to go play with the guys who want to play. And David Sills is not Galladay, but David Sills is obviously better than Galladay is right now because he gets to play. And I'll trust Brian Dable on that any day of the week.
And I think Richie James is playing way above his pay grade. I mean,
Yeah.
the kid's balling. Like I wanted him. I went to camp one day, Lawrence, with a buddy of mine. And I never go to camp. I've just seen a million times, but he's like, come on, go to camp with me. I went to camp. I watched Richie James drop 6 balls. I was like, wow, what's up with this guy? You know what I mean? Like,
Listen, guys have shitty practices and shitty games. That's just the reality of football.
And then but then the lights turn on and the cat's catching everything. And all of a sudden,
him and Jihad Ward have been great under the radar pickups.
Oh yeah,
boy,
most people
Ward's
don't.
been great to watch.
He's still the edge, that guy, man.
Well, then you add, when you get Aziz and Kayvon back, I mean, that's legit depth, like true depth where you can rotate guys.
Yep.
Because you watch Dallas, I watched the film the last couple of days. I mean, Micah Parsons is not in there on every snap. They've got DeMarcus Lawrence and some other guys that can rush the passer, but he gets a breather. But to have 3 guys legitimately, 4 if you count X-Man.
Yeah.
He's playing great too. Those 2 guys have held it down. They really have held it down well with Aziz and Kayvon out. So that's exciting to see.
Yeah, and kind of transitioning to defense, you mentioned Zimenez. I mean, for whatever reason, because we've all been down on him because he has not been, it's the first player ever drafted at Old Dominion. We were all excited. We wanted him to do well, and he just has had a slew of injuries. And we most fans, and I don't blame them, we're kind of like, let's move on. They saw something in him. Yeah, right? Truth, we've been talking about it for a while. We've all been like, hey, we're sure he's a good guy to have a beer with him, but he just can't stay healthy on the field, right?
Is this his 4th season?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Man, it's just been wild. It's hard to gauge a player's worth in terms of what they've all been going through with these coaching staffs. It's just a bunch of mental gymnastics. It's why maybe Aziz is flourishing. He's got the right coach. He's got the right people. I mean, there's a lot of guys, a lot of players come in this league. They're just in the wrong system. They're just, and then they go somewhere else and play well. And you look across the NFL, I mean, there's a lot of our guys, Evan Ingram, he's not doing anything crazy, but he's doing okay down there. I think he's got 11 catches in 2 games. Way too much money for the Giants to pay for him, to keep him.
Mm-hmm.
But and there's guys sprinkled all over the league that were on this roster at some point during the last 4 years doing probably pretty well.
I don't think James Betcher, the defensive coordinator under Shermer, was doing any defensive players any favor.
Right. That was a guy from Arizona, right?
Yeah. And they brought a lot of his guys with them that really didn't do well.
Yes,
for the
yeah,
Giants.
absolutely atrocious.
Yeah. But you got to be excited. Giants have to be excited about the development of Andrew Thomas, this Evan Neal kid. Good God.
Looks good after 2 games.
The interior offensive line, then on the exterior offensive line. So I'm happy we have good, solid tackles.
Ends, both sides of the ball. And then, Julian Love's a fantastic player. He seems like a 10, 12-year player for the Giants. Just kind of fits and does everything right. Not a superstar, but is not going to, he's always going to do the right thing. And I like this team. I like it. I like the corners. I like some of the, I'm a big Darnay Holmes fan. Some people, he's a dog. Like that dude is a dog. I like him. I like him a lot. He's competitive and he competes and he plays a tough.
He's had a hard time.
The slot is tough, Ben. The slot is tough. He had great coverage on that kid. Whatever is it? The kid from Tennessee that got the big chunk play late in the 4th. That's great coverage. It's a great throw, but I like Darnay Holmes, man. He's competitive.
I thought I liked him. I liked him at UCLA. He played well his rookie year. He got hurt. He came back. I was always a big fan. And then I kept saying to myself, I think Darnay Holmes must have money on the game. I mean, because he was. You don't see it on camera, but you're at the stadium. He's holding that guy. There's literally 2 minutes left, and you got he's just holding this guy like crazy, and then he misses that tackle right through the middle of the field, and I'm like, oh, come on, Holmes, what are you doing? You're killing me.
You talking about the Carolina game?
The Tennessee game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he did not have a great Tennessee game, but yes, he is scrappy, and I like him, and he fits. And on the other side of it is that we have so many slot I mean, they're playing flat on the outside, which isn't. I don't know if it's going to work or not.
Shit, he
but
needs to get in the weight room. He's going to get hurt.
He needs a steak.
Yeah,
You're talking about Cornell Flock?
Yeah,
he's Cordell Flott. Yeah, because they had him this weekend with Darnay playing inside, and I like Darnay. He had a rough game against Tennessee. They got him Darnay playing inside, and they brought Flott in when they go to nickel, even dime, because they ran some dime this weekend. They had Flott on the outside, and I don't love Flott on the outside, but he's just too thin to actually take on a tackle.
You got to keep him away from the line of scrimmage. He's going to get rolled up on, snapped in two. He needs to stay out on the boundary.
So tell me about
right,
tell me your thought on Spartans rough on me anytime I like somebody and they go away, and then I want to cry and they make fun of me. What's your thought? And I know you guys were talking about because I caught some of it. What's your thought on Blake Martinez? I know it's water under the bridge. He's I guess he's in down there in Baltimore looking for a gig. What's your thought on him getting let go?
Scheme fit. No big deal. No hard feelings. It's a scheme fit. He didn't fit this defense, and that's okay. It doesn't mean he's not a great football player and won't play another 5 or 6 seasons. We talk about it all the time. He just wasn't a good scheme fit for this Wink Martindale defense. So that's just the business part of it.
I'll tell you what. I am very pleasantly surprised when we lost Bradbury and the Giants lost Martinez. And here the Giants' defense is. I thought they would be bottom 3 in the league. They've played pretty damn good football. I really can't complain about the defense too much. They're playing outstanding compared to what I think their talent level is.
Yeah, and Bradbury wasn't a scheme fit, to be quite honest. He's an off corner. He can't play man. He's too slow. He's great off the ball. He's a big guy. But as you know, he got ran by a bunch last year on go routes and things like that. And Adoree Jackson loves playing man.
Yeah,
that's his deal. Fly. He can still run, and Robinson is getting better there. But the thing I appreciate about both those guys, Robinson and Adoree, is how they support the run game. You don't find a lot of corners, especially in that Tennessee game, that will come up there and fill it up. And both those guys played incredibly well in Tennessee, and they're both willing tacklers in the run game. That's not always the case with corners, as you guys probably already know. So I like A-Rob. I think they're going to be fine out there. He needs to keep getting better in coverage, but I have no doubt he will.
Yeah, I was surprised that, and we don't have to drone on about the Blake thing because they drafted McFadden, and he's like the clone of Blake Martinez. So to me, it's like if Blake's not a fit, then why they draft McFadden? He's literally a carbon copy of, in my estimation, he's a carbon copy of Blake. But even so, we're hurting for linebackers. The Giants signed
Jalen Smith.
Signed Jalen Smith today.
Again.
I'm like, how does this guy never have a job? And then the Giants always sign him the week before Dallas. It's almost like he says, just I'll wait until the Dallas game. Like,
he's giving away all the Dan Quinn secrets, I guess. I don't know.
That's it.
And he actually played pretty well for us down the stretch last year.
He did. That's why I don't get what.
Yeah, you wonder why it took so long to bring him back.
That's my point. How does this guy never have a job?
Well, naturally, yeah. And I don't know that he even went to camp with anybody. So he's had a hell of a good summer. I mean, not having to go to camp and then just coming into a roster. So we'll see if they activate him. I don't know if Tate Crowder's something's going on there. I don't know.
Well, Crowder's Crowder's a great locker room guy, and he can live off that hit off of what do you call it? For the rest
Henry, that's his career hit right there.
Yeah, because he's a tweener. He's a tweener. He's not a downhill thumper. He's not much of a tackler. So that hit against Henry, he can live the rest of his career on that hit. So I thought, they would have elevated McFadden. I thought they bringing in Smith, more of an off-ball backer, but.
McFadden is still young, though. I mean, you don't just plug in linebackers. And I would suspect this Wink Martindale defense is pretty complicated. Who's blitzing, who's not, shifts. Does it switch the side of the blitz just because a guy goes in motion? There's a lot going on with his defense. So you can see McFadden. I mean, some of these guys will slowly sprinkle them in. The worst thing you want to do is put a player in when they're not ready and they lose confidence. That's the worst thing you can do, to be honest, because even though you think you might be ready, you can't let a kid. Once your confidence is gone in this league, you're screwed. That's the number one thing. That's all you got, and that's what I think they're massaging a little bit with Daniel is his confidence is shot. It has been, and rightfully so. He's played in some really bad teams with some bad players, but he's slowly getting a little bit more confident, and hopefully he can keep playing at a decent level because, I think it'll be good to see what he is at the end of the year.
Lawrence, do you think they're holding the playbook back on him right now? Is that what I just took that from you with him? They're like baby feeding him? Yeah.
I don't think they're doing it on purpose. I think just the personnel is basically making right. Because if you think about it from a defensive perspective, the only thing they say Wednesday's first practice, first meeting is we got to stop number 26. They don't say we got to stop 10. They don't say we got to stop 3 or 13 or they're not saying David Sills is a guy we have to stop this week.
It's about Barkley.
It's all about Saquon. And so I think they're just limited in terms of what they want to do offensively because of personnel. I think they keep adding pieces to Bellinger's plate, right? The more he can do, you get a little bit of a Dawson Knox feel there, right? A little bit. Because I don't think Knox was a big high draft pick either. He's just kind of turned himself into a really good player.
In fact, I've said this on numerous occasions. These guys know like tight ends, like my jam. Like I'm always about the tight ends. I grew up watching tight ends. Like it's just something that I've always get into. And Knox never had a touchdown in college. Never scored a touchdown his whole entire college career.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, he's a later round draft pick. And the kid had
he's like Bellinger. I mean, what was Bellinger? 4th?
Yeah, 4th round
pick. And he's starting. That's not common for a 4th round pick to start.
In fact, Lawrence, it's a feather in our cap. I mean, or I'll pat myself on the back here because no one else will. We interviewed Bellinger the night before he left for camp.
Oh, wow.
I can't even tell you how it happened. We just happened to hit it on Twitter. We laughed about something. I can't even tell you. It was something stupid. You know what I mean? And then I was like, hey, I'm like, we interview players. Love to have you on. And he was like, yeah. He's like, I'm coming to New York tomorrow. Why not? So we interviewed him and he hung out with us for an hour. Let me tell you, he's a cool cat. And I won't drone on about it, but Mike and Spartan are both back me up on this. His grandfather, was one of the first planes deployed in World War II. And his great-great-grandfather was in the Civil War. His entire history revolves around war heroes. And he's got New York ties, but they went out west, I guess, because there was a military tie or something. I forget. And then Daniel went to play out there. Just a really cool story, cool family, really good guy. And he was basically saying, hey, I'll do whatever they want me to do, but I'd love to show them that I can catch the ball too. And it reminds me of a system that, doesn't throw a lot of balls in a tight end. He's a big, strong kid.
Yeah, he's going to be good. I think he is going to be a good player, provided he stays healthy. So to answer your question, I just think it's personnel related. I just don't think they have the horses yet to attack defenses the way they want to attack them.
Okay.
Kafka, too, is a pretty smart guy, Mike. Truth, think about what kind of relationship Mahomes, Kafka, and Kelsey probably had. All the stuff that they were putting in. He's probably just not ready to roll that out.
Yeah.
With Jones, Bellinger, and, he's probably not there yet.
Yeah, I just like to see him go more vertical. That's all.
You would, but I mean, who's creating the separation on a vertical route other than a blown coverage with Sterling Shepard, right? It's like
you would hope the only way he got.
Sorry.
Yeah,
you would hope. I mean, but when you don't play, it's hard to, go vertical.
So it's you can on the sidelines, right? You can walk vertically on the sidelines, but yeah.
But if you watch a lot of what's cool though, and if you watch a lot of what they do, especially in the red zone, those turnovers, which obviously we should have got a touchdown out of one of those 2 turnovers, but we didn't. Yep. There's a lot of if you watch the film, there's a lot of stuff they're going to do off of those plays, which I think is so cool. I know a couple of those plays didn't work out, but there's so many more things they're going to do off of those plays and those looks and those motions. Because if you look where Daniel kind of ran that, even Saquon, when he ran that like sweep, he took the snap and went directly left, and and then Daniel did the same thing. There's a lot of stuff off of that you'll see if you watch the film further, like on the backside of it. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be because their red zone thing is they don't really have a big target, right? So they're going to have to trick dick you in the red zone. They're going to have to do a lot of misdirection, crossers, things like that.
I see them planting seeds too, because I was watching some of the all 22 stuff, and I can see them,
runs.
They're running in motion, and then they're not quite cracking down, but I see them running in Sterling, helping out inside, the tackle, bringing in Sills, having him help out. And then the next thing you know, they do that so often. They plant that seed, and then the next thing you know, they're running vertical, in between, the tackle and the guard, and they're rolling out into the flat. Like Kafka seems to be planting seeds, getting the defense their muscle memory to be like, okay, they're just coming in to crack back. They're coming in to, the stalk block. And next thing you know, the receiver's running free because he's planting those seeds. As you just mentioned, they're going to play off certain plays. You're basically looking at A, and then they're going to get to B as they get, later. In the
That's what Jason Garrett was not, right? Like we didn't ever see it. It was the most basic generic route tree, right? We all watched the film. It was so generic. I never see anything like it in my life. It was just so bad. So this is cool. This is innovative offense. This is new age Mike Kafka, Brian Dable.
Did you just hang up on Lawrence? Did you just hang up on your mom?
Go ahead, Craig.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying
I have a home phone. Not very many people have these anymore.
I was saying I heard the phone ring, and I'm like, oh man, Lawrence just hung up on his mom.
No, like my entire everything, like security system, all that stuff. So someone's watching this now. They're just going to cut my phone line. But everything just I do have cellular also. I have cellular, but I think it's always good to have a landline.
Yeah, I'm like he's like his mind is thinking. He's like, what should I not be saying right now?
Yeah, it's like shit we have to worry about.
Go ahead, Spartan. You were going to say something. My bad.
I do like that. Watching this offense, like they're still trying to test things out. I'm okay if they have a blown red zone offense. They're trying to get their groove. I understand that, but with Jason Garrett, I mean, it's like they never tried anything new from week to week. It was just stale, stagnant, lousy play calls. Balls on third down. I never understood it.
Yeah, it was. This is a breath of fresh air for everybody. It's Saquon's back, right? We haven't talked much about him, but I was very critical of him. Yeah, I was very critical of him, and I thought it was warranted. I wasn't questioning if he was done, like some people have said he's done or he's lost a step. I questioned his want to, and I think I was warranted in that because I think even he questioned his want to. He didn't say that word for word, but he was questioning his ability last year, and you could tell that. But after hearing what and who they played for and what was going on with that Joe Judge regime, I'm sure a lot of people hated football playing under him.
It's nice to see an energy back in the building because I can only imagine what it's like when you're playing for a team that's so bad for years. You're constantly losing.
And then you have a micromanager like him.
Yeah.
He just was on, he special teams, O-line, D-line, fighting with that offensive line coach we had, whatever.
Colombo.
Colombo would have buried his face. Absolutely would have beat his ass. And Joe Judge is not a small guy. I know that, but Mark Colombo's 6'8". And then he brought in his buddy to coach the offensive line, and he was a complete asshole who's now down in Florida. So, it was just a bad deal, man. They got fleeced, right? The Giants and Mara and Tish, they got fleeced. But here we are. Everyone should be excited about Dable and Shane.
Fleeced, aren't we?
What's that?
Well, as you said, we look fleeced. Screw it. We're looking better is what I meant to say. I was just trying to be cool and it didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work, Spartan.
We got fleeced.
Now we face Dallas, and hopefully we can be
don't
3-0.
go Dallas yet. I got one more thing. Don't go Dallas yet. I got one
thing.
Wait, we got to talk about like his wheelhouse. What we got to talk about? We got to talk about. No, dude, come on. Guys
He's just
are
really,
starting
really
to
good, man. I mean, he's next level. He's hitting the ball as well as I've ever seen him. I mean, he's a 5 times better kicker now than he was in his first 8 or 9 years.
Why is that, and how does that happen?
Man, just the more and more you play, the more comfortable you get. He's got a good situation there. That stadium is actually a whole lot easier to kick in than the old MetLife. It's kind of a kicker punter. If you look at the kicking stats and the punting stats in that stadium, they're really good
Compared to Giant Stadium.
I think just compared to any stadium in the NFL.
You
I
noticed
love
that
kicking
in
it.
2010. Like, did you notice that right away when you moved to the new stadium? Where you're like, wait, this feels a little bit easier.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, the old MetLife was a gauntlet. I mean, kicking in that east end zone towards the city.
The swirling of the wind, and
I mean, I've seen David Akers come up short from 35 in pregame warmups there. It's crazy.
yeah.
So yeah, it's a completely different animal. But he's good, man. I mean, you run out of superlatives to, if you think about what he's done over the last 3 or 4 years here, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
he
he's
was
fun to
definitely
watch
a number one
too.
star.
What's
Yeah,
that?
well, you know what? Truth, he's got a really good personality too. He has fun with the fans. You see him on social media giving balls out to kids in the stadium. Like he seems like he gets it. I'm not so sure everybody gets it, but he's having fun, and that translates to the fans. So I'm like, I'm cool with it. Like, I'm glad he's
So basically,
here.
you're going to get a number 9 jersey. That's what you're saying.
Well, no, if I get a 9 jersey, I got to put your name on the bag.
Yeah, I mean, he could have all the 50-yarders he wants.
Exactly. That's what he's wearing.
You got to get these guys.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I hope he's there. I hope he's long enough that he stays around to get one of those. I mean, hey, look.
Kickers live for a while, man. He could totally be here for a while.
Yeah, he's in
Well,
year 14, I think, 15.
Wow, he's been in the league that long?
That old.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Well, he was with Carolina for a long time.
Yeah, like 9 years. You're right.
He started
You're
in Washington. Was there for 2 or 3, then went to Carolina. Hell, he went to like the XFL maybe in between Washington and Carolina, and then
Wow. See, I didn't know that.
parlayed that into an 8-year
does-
career at Carolina, and then
Stuff happened. How does that happen? I mean,
That
the guy
sounds
just
familiar. I thought we're talking to a guy right now that played a little NFL Europe.
I played CFL, NFL Europe, and it's just right place, right time. He's got it. Listen, there's 32 people in the world that do what we do. 32 people in the world. So
Like,
there's not a lot
like-
of vacancies every year.
Yeah, 52 and 56. And that 56 probably could have been 58. I mean, he hit that right on, and that was just, I don't know. I love these guys who just and he doesn't look like he gets rattled either. And he
No, he's it hit this state. You don't last 14 years if you get rattled.
yeah.
So he's a calm, he's a great athlete. He was our stories are crazy similar. He was born in Scotland, moved to America when he was 10, just like I did, to the same area, Pensacola, Florida. His dad was in the Navy. His mom is Scottish. It's the wildest story. Like, his high school is 12 miles from my high school.
That's insane.
And
Are you
he's younger
friends?
than me, but we played. Yeah. And so we got to be friends. I mean, he was playing in the NFC East when I was with the Giants. He was with Washington.
Yep.
That's where he started his career. Nobody remembers him because they weren't very good. And he actually wasn't very good.
Yeah.
But
That's
kicking
wild.
in Washington's a tough, but our story, and then you got the Scottish hammer. So once you go Scottish, you never go back. That's just,
I've never heard that one, but okay.
that's just what the Giants, once they went Scottish with me, they've moved to Gano. I mean, they just never go back.
Sort of like he had this
All
big
between
thing
that,
with,
I mean, what are they dealing with in the meantime? A prisoner or two? I think.
Cue the bagpipes.
Yeah.
all right, go ahead, Truth. You got a Dallas question. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying now we face Dallas. We got a chance to go 3-0 for the first time since 2008. This is going to be a very big and emotional game. Monday Night Football. This is prime time.
Whiteout. I heard there's a whiteout.
No, and no.
Penn State whiteout. Brian Dable wants
Yep.
people to wear white.
All white.
White.
All white.
And I guarantee you the Giants fans will adhere to that, although I did see some fans on Twitter complaining already because they wear their favorite blue jersey or
We're
and that's
Big
fine.
Blue. We're not Penn State. We're Big Blue.
Yeah,
What you
but the
mean?
players, the team is wearing all white. That throwback, whatever that color rush.
Craig, let me tell you, at
Uniform.
Michigan State, the coolest experience, and I've dealt with this twice, is when they do a
Because they're
sport
green and
stadium
white.
or they have everybody matching. It is a sick experience for the fans. The Giants have
I'm
never
sure
done
it's
that.
going to be nuts.
Good luck.
So, more importantly, Dallas. Watched them the last day and a half. They're good, man. I mean, defensively, they're really good. Cooper Rush looks better than a typical backup. I mean, he moved the ball pretty well.
The ginger.
You know, I don't know if they're going to get Gallup back. That would obviously help them. They said he might come back this week. Zeke. You know, I don't know. Tony Pollard scares me more than Zeke. The tight end, I think, has an injury. Schultz.
Yeah,
He's a good
he's
player.
questionable.
Did you kick in that
but
stadium?
Are you a Giants fan? What do you mean? Did
the
I
new
kick in
Dallas
that
stadium?
stadium?
Yeah,
I scored the first points in that stadium, and I closed it down with a walk-off that night. You remember? I own that fucking stadium.
The look in your face when he asked that question.
Like you dumb
I
son.
fucking own that stadium. Did I kick in that stadium?
Softballs.
No. You're so they're tough defensively with Parsons and I mean you just gotta listen.
Lawrence.
You better know where he's at every fucking play because he will wreck the game. He basically wrecked the Bengals game. Wrecked it.
Yeah.
They put him at the left. They put him over the right tackle for most of the game, which was Lyle Collins, his former teammate. And then they put him over the left tackle at times. So he got a sack from the left side and the right side.
Right.
Yeah.
But he spent the majority of the game over the right tackle, Lyle Collins, because maybe they had some practice battles. He knew Lyle, whatever. So I would suspect he's going to be over Evan Neal. The way Andrew Thomas is playing right now, I would put him over Neal. So I'd like to see us run at him. You know, he didn't do much in the run game. He does chase things down from the backside, but when you run the football, you got to run right at his ass and just blow him off the ball. Evan Neal will blow him off the football
if he gets his hands on him.
Yeah, that's easier said than done. But he's a fantastic player. I mean, their secondary is good. He makes everyone in the back end even better but people are forgetting about DeMarcus Lawrence. He's a top 15 pass rusher in the game. He's slowed down quite a bit with that back injury.
Yeah.
But they're good on defense, man. I just think you have to be careful. Don't turn the ball over. Defensively, I think we'll beat their ass. You know, their offense right now is not anything to worry about. You start pressuring a young quarterback, Cooper Rush, who hasn't played a whole lot of football. But Dallas gets a lot of their sacks with the four-man rush. And I think every sack they got Sunday was with a four-man rush. They don't blitz a lot.
They're fortunate to have those, I guess, DNs / outside linebackers that can, get up. They can get up the field, and like you said, they'll chase it down from the backside too. I've seen Parsons come in from the right, chase it all the way down, like again, not calling him Lawrence Taylor, but he has made a knack of chasing stuff down from behind, right?
Yeah, he's a freak, man. He is. He's very good.
He has that connection with Neal, right? There's a connection with those two guys because the Giants traded back, and that was the pick they got Neal with. That they traded back with Chicago, and they could have got Parsons if they didn't trade back.
You mean Thomas?
No, when they traded back with Chicago,
the year before.
Yes, that pick they got for Neal, that was a Chicago pick.
Got it. I was thinking that.
And I wanted Neal. I mean, I wanted Parsons. And you know how I felt about that. But
well, yeah,
he had some red flags.
That's true.
I was going to say he had some red flags.
and
he played an entire year with a chip on.
And quite frankly, I like for my defensive players to have lots of red flags.
Right? Allegation.
Criminal. As long as they're not hurting women and children.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit what they do.
If they show up with handcuffs, just have a hacksaw ready to go.
Hey, sir, can you let them?
That was hazing, right? That was hazing, was it? Am I right by saying that? What he did was allocations
to have red flags.
Yeah,
guards at casino.
So
I'd like for my offensive linemen to be like Chris Nee, Boston College, just that kind of Evan Neal, Andrew Thomas, all these intelligent guys. Yes, but the defense, we got to let the boys eat over there.
Yeah,
those are different cats on that side of the ball.
Yeah. What about the kickers? What's the standard for the kickers?
Man, Scottish number one. Half of me Scottish.
Long
Grew
snappers. What about
up in
long
the Panhandle, Florida. Long snappers, I like my Ivy League long snappers. Zach
Okay.
Diossi, Brown
Okay. It's gotta be
University.
Brown University.
Very smart, intelligent, strong, fast. The kickers, yeah, a little fucked up in the head. That would be good. You got to be a
Hey,
little.
special teamers are the funniest people, right? I mean,
I don't like.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't like super like like quiet kickers. Like even the guys, kids I work with. I just like to see them like talk shit to
It's
me.
like
No,
the
I just
kid,
like. Yeah, I want them to like talk shit back to me. Like if I'm talking shit to them, because I want to see there's something there. Like don't get because people are going to talk shit to you. You're going to be a kicker. I still hear shit from adults that I was just a kicker.
I want to see a little crazy smile when they're winding up to take a kick and the other coach just froze the clock. I want to see like a little crazy smile there,
a little bit of
That shit
personality.
doesn't work.
Hey
What?
Lawrence, can you count on your fingers how many tackles you made on when you kicked the ball
10.
up?
No, do you know that for a fact?
He knows. I knew it.
Yeah.
Any good ones? Any good decleaters? Did you do any?
Man, my best one was against a kid, and if you guys are avid NFL fans, I was with the Chiefs, kicked off. Kevin Curtis, white guy, kick returner from Utah State, maybe.
No.
Fast kid, played for the Rams. His name's Kevin
yeah.
Curtis.
I
I
do
believe he played
remember-
for the Eagles too, maybe.
I remember him playing
be
for the
wrong.
Rams.
And I kicked off, and this was my first 2 or 3 years, guys. I used to run down and cover like an idiot.
And then someone was like, stop doing that.
Yeah. Well, no, this is one of the hits that said, I should probably stop doing that. I hit him, tackled him maybe like the 18, 19-yard line. Like there's a big bounce return, smoke. Oh, I was flying. I ran a 4.62. I was like, I was a good athlete, 6'2", 200 pounds. I could run a little bit. So I used to run down there. I hit this guy, and it was a good tackle. The boys are all dapping me up, and I kind of walk over to the sideline, and I'm sitting there, and Coach Hazlitt is the coach of the Rams at that time. He goes, "Hey, Tynes, your sideline's over there, buddy." I was on the wrong fucking sideline.
Oh,
That's hilarious.
And I don't remember the whole second half, but I hit some beautiful field goals. If I could bottle that and like kick, if I could kick with that head trauma for my whole career, I'd still be playing.
Yeah.
yeah. You wouldn't have to
I
remember
didn't.
all
No.
the bad
No.
stuff.
Well, yeah. There's no thoughts. There's just did not remember the second half when I had 2 field goals. They saw them on film though. They look good.
Lawrence, real quick, I know we're kind of at time. I was talking to Craig earlier. I don't want to ask anything too redundant, especially you said how bored you get with these questions.
No, Lawrence tells good stories though, man.
The question I want to ask is this, not about the kick itself, but there's 6.5 billion people in the world, know 7, right? The most dopamine feeling you can get in the world, they say, is when you win the lottery. I disagree. I think it's the night that you kicked us to the Super Bowl. I want to know just what the next 24 to 48 hours was like after that game. Who you calling? What goes on through your head? Maybe you had to go to practice by Tuesday. I'm not exactly sure, but that's what I always wanted to ask you.
No, so that's a good question. I've never had anyone ask me that way. So directly after the game, right? Pandemonium. I got my foot drained. So I've told this story 100 times. I hit a kickoff in the first or second quarter up high on my foot, and it hurt like holy hell. Like I knew I busted everything inside. I have really skinny feet. So hit a kickoff up high on my foot. No big deal. You keep playing. Well, at the end of the game, I take my socks off and my shoe off. The pressure of the socks and the shoe are keeping everything compact. As soon as I pulled my sock off, in between my ankle and my, let's call it my midfoot, went boom, like the size of a baseball, like literally just whoop, instant. Scared the shit out of me. So I run in the training room like, Ronnie, what the hell is this? And I knew what it was. I told him what happened. So naturally, they were not going to let me fly home because of the worry about the pressure. And so we somehow figured out that it's okay to fly home. But I did have it drained when I got home immediately. Okay. Took out, I don't know how many cc's of fluid. But really what just happened from it being so cold, I busted every blood vessel in my foot. Jesus. And so it just swelled up. And then I didn't kick another ball again until Thursday before the Super Bowl. So I literally took 10 days off. So I played the Super Bowl. It hurt like hell too. So, I did that in the second quarter. So I kicked the whole game in Green Bay with it hurt. And then I played in the Super Bowl with it hurt, but I wasn't going to miss the Super Bowl.
Can you imagine having to find a kicker to kick in the Super Bowl?
No. I would have. You would have had to kill me. You would have had to kill me to not play in that game. Sure. And then I just took a Toradol shot killer. You don't feel anything. So, and then I did Letterman in between that time period.
Yeah.
cool.
It was a wild 48 hours, man. Wild, crazy. I did ride in the cockpit on the way home with the pilots.
Nice.
That's badass.
I had the ball that I kicked. Pilots were trying to check out the ball.
Is that ball behind you somewhere in the
Yeah, you
case?
still have it?
Yeah, I have the ball. It's not in my possession. I don't keep a lot of stuff here. A lot of stuff's like in a bank, like in a safe, just because in case something, you fire. I don't want to lose any of that stuff.
In case someone realizes that he's got a home line security system.
Yeah, and they just cut my line, and they're Giants fans, and they want to steal a football that's probably worth nothing. It's actually worth something to the right person, I'm sure.
Of course, right? It's market values depending on who needs it and who wants it.
It'll look pretty good in my basement. Yeah, I'd like that.
I'd sell it. Hell, Hakeem Nicks sold his ring. I'd sell my ball.
Oh, that hurt me. I saw that.
Yeah.
Did it though? I more and more guys are. I never wear it. Like obviously, I'm not going to sell it. Ever. Like
why? Why?
Like where would I wear it?
Anywhere.
I know it sounds crazy, but you just don't. Like if that makes any sense. And Hakeem doesn't need a ring to say he's a world champion. He doesn't. And so I was actually like, some people think it's financial. Hakeem's doing just fine. Trust me. He is not hurting for money. That younger generation of kids, and I will call him younger, they just don't value things, man. Some kids don't. Like, it's cool for me to have because I have two boys. I want to give them to my, one to each son.
Yeah,
sure.
And I think that's cool, and it could become this heirloom of our family at some point. But I don't mind guys selling rings. I really don't. If you don't wear it, it's something you never wear. I can't tell you the last time I put mine on.
Lawrence, are your boys playing football right now?
No, they're sophomores. They don't play.
Gotcha.
They're kickers though, right?
Soccer? Well, they kicked and punted from like 10 to freshman year, and then both really good at it, and just don't play. Maybe they'll play their junior year like I did. I played my junior and senior year. That was it.
But they were born in Kansas, and they weren't born in Scotland.
No, they're from Kansas, but they think they're New Jersey because they lived in New Jersey, and they rock Giants shit all the time. And
that's so cool.
It's tough being in Kansas City, man. With the way this team has won in the last since we've moved here, it's been, because the school they go to an all boys Catholic school, but where they have to wear like quarter zips. But on Fridays you can wear red only if you're a cheat. You can it's stupid because I'm going to call the priest and say, well, can't they wear their Giant shit without the shit in there? Like, can they wear their Giant stuff?
Red all the way from 2006. Get their dad's jersey, man.
Yeah, but every kid there is allowed to wear Chiefs gear, which doesn't seem right.
Oh, it's all boys. Okay,
all boys. Yeah. So it's like, well, and they say no, you can't wear Giant stuff. It has to if it's Chief stuff or nothing. So
wait.
They know, they won't let them wear their Giant stuff. It's weird.
Wait, Lawrence, I'll send you red jerseys that the Giants had. Let them wear red Giants jerseys.
Oh, that's a good point. Maybe we need to. No one will ever know.
Now, don't get me wrong.
They're not big into the jerseys, though. They just like hoodies and like quarters. They do have. What's cool though is they wear Giants. The Peter Millar quarter zips, or they'll wear Giants quarter zips to school.
Yeah,
because they have to wear some form of a quarter zip. So they get the nice ones with just a little NY right there. Let everybody know we're 2-0. But they were, to their credit, they were wearing them when we sucked, which has been forever. So
yes,
give them props.
Yeah.
True fans.
Listen, I know the red jerseys were not good luck.
Yeah, I only wore those one time. Was not a big fan.
It's the quarterback practice jersey, right?
Red lost to the Cowboys. I played well. I had a good game, but it never took to me. I don't know.
Wait a minute. They could also wear your stuff. They could wear stuff with your name on the back or their name on the back. What am I talking about? Like old
they're not like super big dad fans. I mean, they're more like Daniel Jones, Saquon, KT.
Okay. What do they think?
We have two KTs now, don't we? Yeah, we have two KTs. Thibodeau.
Oh yeah. Kadarius.
Who's the real KT?
They're gonna have to battle.
Is that going to be a
guess
debate?
who plays more?
Yeah. Whoever gets the most snaps. Whoever
So
gets the
wait,
most snaps.
No
how
bonus.
old are they? They're freshmen
15.
and
They're
sophomores.
twins.
Sophomores.
Oh,
They're
they're
sophomores.
sophomores. And so they like all the Giants guys. They watch them religiously on the weekends and stuff like that. Or
Oh, we didn't go to a baseball game this weekend to watch the Giants.
Wow.
I gotta tell you though, from the outside, it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
Did
No,
not
he loved
go
the
to
year
a
'cause he played for
base.
two teams.
Now listen, it's fall ball. It's
Yeah.
not super. We did our 60 games in June and July. Traveled all over the country. One of my sons plays baseball. He's a good player.
Oh.
But yeah, we had a fall ball tournament. We played 2 on Saturday. The first game on Sunday was at 10:30 a.m. So that's Central Time. So we would have missed the first quarter at least. He's like, Dad, we're not missing the Giants game. I said,
I love it.
now you're speaking my language. It's fall
I thought
ball.
when you said you were skipping the baseball game, I thought you meant the Royals game. I'm like, well, why?
No.
Yeah, the Royals game.
No, fall ball. Fall ball is just if you want to work on a certain pitch or you're just working on shit, right? But it's competitive, but it's not like the summer, and so it's just more it's extra reps because he's not playing football.
I got it,
So-
yeah, because we got the same story where it's lacrosse in my family.
Yeah, so
You know,
it's fall
so-
lacrosse, chill,
Yep.
super chill, and it's good because you can go work. You're playing with kids, you don't really know a whole lot, but if you want extra reps, stay on the bump or in the batter's box. So, but he's diehard. He won't miss. Will not miss again.
That's all.
That's so my son's in 8th grade. This is his first year playing tackle football. You know, he's out there slinging the rock, playing QB, outside linebacker. So I brought him to the game. If I bring him to the game, which I did on Sunday, he's all into it. But if he has to sit down and watch it with me, he's like up and down, and then he's outside riding his bike, shooting baskets. Like if it's on
really?
TV, if it's on TV, and I'm like, dude, you're playing now. Like, watch what goes on. Like, see,
Yeah, it's hard. These kids they can't have no. We went to 2 games last year. Obviously, the Rams game where we got embarrassed, and then the Monday night game here against the Chiefs. That was electric. If you guys have to come to Arrowhead at night. It's the craziest stadium in the NFL.
When
The
did the
best
Giants
stadium.
play the Chiefs?
Last
They
year.
played them last year. Remember on Monday night. So we went to that.
Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah, it was
That's an
actually,
amazing and we played well. We played freaking well. If O'Shane
That's
Jimenez
right.
stays on side, we win that game.
There's probably a lot of truth to that. too.
No,
Because I-
no, there is a truth because we picked the ball off.
Yeah.
We,
I remember
we picked
going
it
to
off.
bed.
The game is over.
I remember going to bed going, I hate that guy. I can't believe he went upside.
Yeah, they
Right.
could have won that game.
And it was a little bit of a
It was
I
a good
don't know.
showing. I was proud of them. They played in a hostile environment. This place at night, man, is crazy. It's the greatest place to watch a football game.
What about going? I mean, I'm not that far away where I am, but I would have been. I mean,
he's in
it's just-
Chicago.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
I mean, it just would have sucked though if me and my dad go out there and we just blow it.
Yeah,
No.
they played fair. They played. They didn't embarrass us, right? They had
No.
a good. They played tough, and they gave the Chiefs some fits.
What's your I'll leave you with this. What's your overall thoughts, moving forward? You said 8-9 games, right? It would be the max. How do they get I'm assuming they're going to get there with, stout defense. But we're not talking about like playoffs or anything crazy. But you feel good about this team winning 7-8 games, right?
Yeah, and it wouldn't surprise me. Nothing would surprise me anymore if they did go to the playoffs. I mean, hell, we almost made it one year with 6 wins. This division's a whole lot better. I think Carson Wentz adds a dimension to the Commanders that's different, right? He's slinging the ball all over the place. So the division's better. Philly's really good. I'll give them credit. But the NFC East is the NFC East. You just never know. If they can keep developing and stay healthy, I think they're going to be fine. I'd say 8 or 9 wins would be a solid year. It wouldn't surprise me if they won more. It wouldn't surprise me if they win less. But
Well,
I like
Monday
it. I
night-
like where they're headed.
Monday night's big game, Ring of Honor, Rodney Hampton, O.J. Anderson, our good friend Leonard Marshall, Joe Morris, Jimmy Patton. And
There's a lot of
Barnes.
people going in.
Ronnie Barnes.
Ronnie Barnes, all going in the Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
And
Which
Greg,
is,
remind people we still got shirts, do we not?
that's true. We partnered with Leonard Marshall. We do have the you wearing your Spartan? Oh, look, there you go.
Oh, very cool. That's
So we
awesome.
partnered with Leonard Marshall. If anybody out there watching the pod wants a shirt, You can still buy them through NY Giants Rush, but do it now because I'll run out of time to ship it to you if you're going to wear it to the game. So definitely get on that. Or I can bring it to the game. You can meet me in the parking lot. I can always give it to you there. I'm assuming you're not coming in for that Ring of Honor game, right?
No.
I know there'll be a lot of alumni rolling in, a lot of former players rolling in for that. It should be a pretty cool celebration with 6 or 7 guys getting in
Probably
the ring.
going to go, yeah. Probably try and go to the London game. I'm still thinking about it. But
Dude, that would be super. You know what? I always wonder if I go to the London game, if I actually watch the game. There's so many other things going on.
you would. It's just, yeah, you would. It's, we played in that first one in 2007. It's a weird deal. It's gotten obviously better now, but.
Is that Miami?
Football over there is just weird because it's like 65,000 people and like you'll see every team represented. You'll see every jersey, you'll see every helmet, every hat. It's just an odd deal, but
Hey, it's grown though. It's popular in London now. I mean, like people are popular.
Munich, you'll see some pretty rabid crowds. Like Tampa, they play the Seahawks, I believe. What a flight for Seattle to Munich! Oh my god!
It's in Munich. It's not in London.
No, well, the Giants game is, but yeah, the Tampa game is in Munich.
Oh.
They're playing in Germany, but
Wow.
they're playing Seattle.
Jesus.
Seattle to Munich. You know, the Giants play at Seattle this year too. They travel like the second or third most miles of any team this year.
By the way, I got
Traveling west free up, Lawrence, to traveling westbound because MSU just traveled westbound, got smacked. I realized I haven't won on the West Coast in the last.
You know, with Tom Coughlin, you left at noon, whether you were playing the Philadelphia Eagles or the San Francisco 49ers. You left at noon. No, I'm not bullshitting. You left at noon. The bus left at noon. Because if you think about it, a 6.5-hour flight to San Francisco puts you there at 3:30 because it's a 3-hour time change. Or a train, if you leave at noon from a train station in Newark going down to Washington when we played the Redskins, Commanders football team, you get there at 3:00. So like it was crazy. We left on Saturday, played the game, 6.5-hour flight, 6-hour flight home. I mean,
Fair enough. That's how to do it.
when we played the NFC Championship in 2011, 12, 11.
11.
That flight from New York to San Fran was like 7 hours and 50 minutes. We had to go around like some big snowstorm. So we had to go like to Seattle and then down.
Oh.
And then we played the next day and then flew our asses home.
And they won because of a kicker named Lawrence Tynes.
I know it. But isn't that crazy how like you just go play, like you flew on a plane for 7 hours, you go play a game, then you get on a plane for 7 more hours? Like
No, I'm surprised you guys don't get all like jet lagged and all out of.
But Tom took he just was not. He never wanted to get. Whereas I play here with Vermeil, he didn't do it. Yeah, Vermeil did. Herm Edwards did it. Kansas City when we played the Raiders and Chargers out west, we would always leave on Friday. It's only a 3-hour flight because they wanted to go hang out with their people. But every coach is different.
Hours from Kansas City. Yeah.
I wanted to throw this up and then
we're getting a new airport, by the way, too. Opens in March.
We were talking about scheme. Jake said, I'll throw it up here. It says, if Martinez was cut due to scheme, what's Galladay's excuse? Too much money to cut?
It is. Yeah.
Well, dead money, really.
It's dead money. You might as well try and get something out of him. And maybe,
100%.
Maybe you can, but it's not looking good, boys, through 2 games.
No, there's no other way to look at it. Like, it is what it is. Like Martinez, they already cut his money, cut him down,
he took a pay cut.
The play calling away from him. They didn't vote him captain. Mutual let him go. Too much money. And then our boy from the Caribbean, Lawrence, we've got really great follower over the years. His name is Mark Thompson in the Caribbean, and he's super smart. And he threw up the cap hit, right?
Yep.
21 million in 23, 4 dead, 14 in
low on that
24.
one, right?
I mean, that number is
hold on.
disgusting.
KG in 2023's cap hit is 21.4 million. His dead cap, if we cut him next season, is 14.7 million.
This season,
In 2024, 20. Yeah, so next year you're gonna still take a $14 million cap hit. 15. Let's call that round up. $15 million cap hit to release him.
Yep.
But we're gonna be in really good shape financially, I believe. You still have to pay. Listen, the Giants want the decision. I'll end with this because we've run here a long time. The Giants want to make the decision on Saquon or who do they franchise, Saquon or Daniel? They would love to have that decision.
Yep.
Right.
That means they
right.
both played well.
Yep.
You know,
Jesus.
They say that the Giants could have 80 million next year. I don't think it was that much.
Well,
'cause
mine
this
is
one-
15. 65.
Oh yeah. Well,
There's, as Mark sent us, thank you, Mark, for sending that.
that's true.
yeah, he's always on it.
Mil.
And Lawrence, we touched on it real quick, and we can kind of wrap it up on here. We didn't really talk about Saquon. We don't want to jinx it, but I will say, watching him run this year, whether it's the new coaching staff, whether it's something he's done in the offseason, you could just see his pad level is lower. He's getting into guys. He's running straight lines. He's not just a horizontal runner. He's not just popping it outside. He's not looking for home runs. He's not afraid any longer to drop a shoulder on guys. We even saw him drop a shoulder on Robinson and can't light him up like a pinball machine. Like I don't want to say he's angry, but there's an anger in his style where before he was more, horizontal, juke you, hit the home run. He doesn't seem afraid to drop a shoulder on you now, and I think it's noticeable, and I think it works.
Hey, he's not under contract for next year. I'd be running like that too. Let's be real. I mean, there's a lot of – that's part of it. Don't ever get it twisted that's part of it. He knows he's trying to get paid, but he also is on a better team with better coaches and a better scheme. I can't oversell that enough. Like, he's always been a great back, but he just lost his desire to play in the last couple of seasons because of injuries, because of the pain, because of the shitty circumstances they were under with this coach and bad play calling and they quite frankly, horrible football players. There was no holes for him to run through. This is a better scheme. It's a better team with better players, and it makes everybody look better. But make no mistake about it, Saquon Barkley is trying to get paid.
All right, look at this one.
Good for him.
If they designate him a post 6-1 cut.
Yeah, so that's what they'll do. Thank you, Michael, for sending that. This is all good information. That's exactly what they'll do. And that's talking for 2023, correct?
Yeah.
It doesn't say it.
Yeah, you'll designate him a post June cut, and then you save. Yeah, fantastic. Good.
And then use that money to extend Thomas.
Well, listen,
you know how
you got Thomas. Well, listen, Thomas, Saquon, Jonesy. Which one are you gonna?
Just one?
It's a great problem to have, though.
Wait. Thomas needs to get extended next year.
Nah, he'll still have one more year. They won't extend him next year.
Yeah,
you got to take care of Saquon or Daniel, whichever one of them.
You're going to let Thomas go into a contract year?
Go into his next year. Will be his fourth year.
He was drafted 2000.
He's got a 5-year
2020.
Yeah, but here's the deal. Next year's his fourth year. You pick up his fifth-year option. He's under contract for 2 more years. You don't have to sign Daniel Jones for.
Thomas was a 20 or a 21?
20.
This is his third year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next year he's under contract. You pick up his 5th-year option, and then he's under contract for 2 more years. You don't have to get Thomas.
Yeah, come on, Michael. So. Michael, you're getting me all crazy with that.
No, that's why I read that. I was confused by reading that.
Daniel Jones or Saquon.
Well, listen, I want to thank everybody for listening to the 100th episode of NY Giants Rush. Of course, the Giants guys. That's Lawrence. That's the truth. That's Spartan. I don't know. We'll bring you back. We always try to get you on, but you're so busy. Are you still working with all these planes?
I still work in planes. Yes.
My man works hard. Okay, just so
planes, trains, and automobiles, and podcasts.
Yeah.
And listen, this Giant shit is a full-time gig because, as you know, the news cycle is 7 days a week. There's fun shit. It's fun. It's exciting. I'm glad the Giants are 2-0. And congratulations on your 100th show.
Thank you. No, but thanks for hanging out with us. I mean, it is definitely a lot of work, but we always have fun doing it. So I'll bug you through the year, if we can squeeze you back on, and if we can't, we're always.
Yeah, I probably won't come back on, but I'll just.
Son of a bitch.
At least he was honest. All right.
Once a year, because he can only talk about so much shit.
That's right.
It's like, listen, if something's going really cool, yeah. But like last year, it was just like so doom and gloom. I even hated doing my own show.
If they make the playoffs this year, you're going to come on, right?
Yes.
Like that.
Oh, even if they just 9-8, I'd fucking do jumping jacks. I'm just saying, it just last year, it's just so hard to talk about a losing team.
Right before I popped you on, I said, look, I used to be, a writer for Bleacher Report, another side hustle kind of thing. And then Turner bought it and they got rid of everybody. So I created NY Giants Rush in 2011 and I've been doing it ever since. And it's weird because as soon as I turned all this on, the Giants got bad. And after last year, I was like, what? I have a full-time career. I've got a family. I got all stuff. What am I doing this for? At least when you turn it on with Serby or Paul, whatever, they send you a check. Nobody's sending me a check. So, yes, we do have a pretty kick-ass sponsor right now, which is Astroflave. I got to turn you on to that, Lawrence.
What's that? Amino acids?
Well, it's a new supplement company. It's privately made. You can't get it in a box store. They can ship it to your house. And all those protein drinks that taste like crap, it's called Astroflave because the flavor is really good. No added sugar.
It's good.
They're actually Jersey strong. They got 5 locations in Jersey, but they'll ship to anywhere in the world. Like we got a follower in Hawaii. They just shipped it out to him. I'll turn you on to it. You can check it out.
Mark,
for you boys.
Tribute, man. I see you in the chat room.
Yep. So I wanted to turn it off too. It wasn't fun doing it anymore because it's been bad for so long. This is the first time.
It gets really hard. It gets really, really hard.
So, well, that's Lawrence Tynes. We know we love Lawrence. And he did say he would come back on if they made the playoffs. I'm pretty sure he said
Yeah. Listen, you just have to
have
do
jumping
shit.
jacks.
Craig, as you know, it's just you have to have news, like fun stuff. I don't like talking. I don't like saying this guy sucks or that place. I want to talk about the shit we talked about tonight.
Yeah. No. I get
That's
trust me.
it, man.
I get it.
It's just
I
been a
get
rough
it.
deal.
I've gotten friendly with Chase Blackburn. He's the same thing. He's like, look, I got a foundation thing. Let's talk then. If something cool happens, let's talk then. He's like, look, well, I'll always support you guys, but it's got to be fun. And the Giants got to be good. It's all it comes down to. You want something fun to talk about. You don't want to just rave about how bad people are all the time.
Writing an article about the team when we're like 2-11 sucks. There's nothing more miserable than staying on that guy trying to type some piece of crap.
Well, thanks for tuning in. The podcast will be ready to rock tomorrow morning for all you folks out there. YouTube, Twitter, Apple Pod, Spotify, whatever your platform is. Thanks for hanging out with us, Lawrence, and the Truth and Spartan Mike. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Take care.
Thank you, Lawrence.
Thanks, Lawrence. All right, gentlemen, we are still live. That's always fun to hang out with LT. He's definitely a good friend of the show. Thanks for everybody for hanging out with us. Please do me a favor, check out Astroflave. Follow these guys on Twitter. Check out Instagram. Subscribe. Hit the button. I salute each and every one of you for being a follower and a supporter of the Giants Guys podcast and NY Giants Rush and all this other good stuff that we do. We hope you'll pass it on, favor it. We hope you like what we do. If you want more, you want something specific, Leonard Marshall shirts for all you New York, Connecticut, North Jersey people. Friday the 23rd, which will be next Friday, there is an event in Bergen County, which Leonard Marshall is throwing. We're throwing a party, and I think that Nikki and Chris Nails are going to. I got to coach football next Friday night, so I don't know if I'm gonna make it or not. But there's food,
What's
there's
the
drinks,
record,
there's
bro?
autographs. What's that?
The team's record. Undefeated?
Want to know, baby?
There it is, Craig.
Want to know? Yeah, want to know. First game last week. So I got a game on Friday night. I'm going to try to make it, but go check out what the tickets are. Bring your friends, bring your family. There's autographs. Leonard Marshall's going to be there. Nikki's going to be there. Chris is going to be there. It's at the I think it's called the Garlic Bistro in Bergen County. I heard the food is tremendous. Definitely check that out. Monday, we will be live. I'm going to do some streaming in the parking lot for the Ring of Honor game. All right, when our good friend Leonard Marshall. And listen, you folks can wear all the white you want. It's blue. I'm wearing blue. I'm not wearing white. I don't care what color jerseys they wear. I'm big blue. I'm wearing blue. That's it.
Have some fun, man.
Yeah, I am gonna have fun. But I'm gonna have fun. I don't need to go find a white jersey.
You'll probably be on TV, Craig. Be the only
you're
guy
gonna see
wearing blue.
that night. Space shuttle's gonna be like, yeah.
Like,
you're
where's
right.
Waldo?
What's that?
What?
What did you say?
Wear the
I
black
didn't hear-
skull shirt. Then you'll be able to see it from outer space. That's why I said. There we go.
That's a great
All right.
shirt.
NYGiantsRush.com. The store is open. Get your Leonard Marshall shirt. Go follow these guys. Thanks, Mark and Mike and Mike and Mark and Cece and Jake and Chris and Daniel.
Tudo.
And of course, Tuto and Chris. Mr. C was in the house today. And there's Giant Opinionated Sports. There's Jay. What's up, Sin? What's up? I mean, there's a ton of you guys in here. James. I didn't get to some of your questions. I see you guys in here. Thanks for hanging out. There's Jake. There's Thomas. There's Keith. There's K-Mac. Thanks for hanging out with us. Again, love you guys. 100 episodes. I don't know why I do it, but I know you guys enjoy it. And that's the reason why we turn this thing on all the time. So
We love the fans, baby. Go Giants. 3-0.
Go Jets, baby. 100 episodes, 2-0. I don't know. You guys want to wrap this up with something? You got anything to offer, you two?
No, I've said enough.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
you
Just
go.
enjoy the game.
Enough.
Salute.
Yeah.
Salute.
Hey, let's be nice to each other. Let's support
I love
each
you,
other.
Craig.
We're all
Truth.
Giants together. Peace out, boys.
See you later.
Woo!